I've been on my own. My husband left me, and at the time, officially, to get subsidized housing, I had to fit into a category which was homeless. And I was fortunate or unfortunate, depends how you look at it. The man that lived in this apartment, which is in a co-op, died as a result of cancer, and friends told me to get here fast. There were 2 people ahead of me on the list, but all of a sudden they evaporated, and I moved in here within a month of being told that my marriage was over. I had been married for 35 years, and it was hard getting used to being on my own, but there were an awful lot of helpful people out in the community that saw me through it. And as a result, I am now sort of payback. I'm on committees helping other vulnerable people get solutions for their problems. When I first moved in, one of the other tenants in the building picked up something that had been dropped in the hallway, and when she saw that I was in a wheelchair, volunteered to come and help me if there was anything that needed to be done. So after I was settled in, I got in touch with her, and she has come to me once a week ever since, doing the things that I can't do, which has been a blessing in disguise, but it was also a concern because she just turned 68, and I was afraid that she might be overdoing it, and I started trying to make queries about what I could do otherwise. The first one being I got in touch with the CCAC, the Community Care Access Center, and had a home assessment, and I was informed that I didn't fit in or wasn't eligible for any of their services. So, panic situation. All right, there's one door closed. I got in touch with the March of Dimes, and again they said I didn't fit in, that I didn't need personal care as they interpreted personal care. Now for me, personal care, when I had eye surgery last year, and this is what caused me to start doing all this, because the eye surgeon told me a year ago, January, that I was going to go blind if I didn't have the surgery, and if I did have it, I might still go blind. So I had the first surgery last April, and unfortunately I lost sight in my right eye. It did not improve it at all, even though he took out the cataract and replaced the lens. He wanted to do the second eye the next month, and I said, no, I've got to come to grips with what I can't do anymore. So for 6 months, I had CNIB orientate me to the community, which is why I don't want to move out of this area, because if I lose my eyesight, I won't know it, whereas I do know this one. And taught me how to chop vegetables in the kitchen. But the one thing that I needed services for is monitoring my blood pressure and my blood sugar. If I can't see the printout, I'm in real trouble because the doctor wants me to keep a record of it. CNIB said that I'd have to get a closed circuit TV. I also got in touch with the residential care facilities, and nobody can give me a list of where they are wheelchair accessible. You're supposed to go to 89 different places on your own and sort this out. Well, it's not happening. And so far, I've put an application in at First Place Assisted Living, but they don't have a wheelchair accessible bathroom. They have for respite care, like if you're going to go for a month maybe, but I couldn't live 24/7 in that at all. So they're going to get back to me. I've got the Housing Help Center looking for a place for me. I've been in touch with the person at City Hall that's responsible for residential care facilities. She doesn't know what's wheelchair accessible and what isn't. So that I was getting more uptight by the minute, and then it was somebody from Catholic Family Services that suggested I get in touch with St. Joseph's Home Care. After 18 months of trying to find services to meet my needs for the future, I was very glad to be in touch with an agency who understood what I wanted as versus fitting into a particular structure that was established. No, I don't need somebody to wash my back. I don't need somebody to cut my toenails. In fact, I don't think most personal care workers can cut your toenails. You have to go to a chiropodist for that. But to have somebody come and say, yes, we can do this, this, and this, was such a relief off my mind that I've been able to sort of get on with my life, and I'm looking forward to an assignment I have for one of the committees I have to pass this message on, that there is hope at the end of the tunnel. To advocate for myself has been a challenge because I always see people that are worse off than I am. But in the last 18 months, I have had a taste of what they go through, the brick walls you run up against. And when you get an answer that gives you relief, there's no way of describing, like you just want to let out a big sigh and hallelujah. In doing advocacy for other people and myself, I find it very frustrating that you're told such and such is in place, but when you try to take advantage of it, it's not there. It's only on paper, or it's part of future plans. It's not readily available. I think probably the only thing I've discovered that is reasonably readily available are special services for really vulnerable people in the city. There are so many wait lists that you may never get what you need, which again goes back to this lovely lady that came and said she can give me services in my apartment. I don't need to move. That has to be the most liberating thing I have ever experienced. I don't know whether going back to having been a nurse working with multi-handicapped children has any basis on my long-term values. But I have always felt that if I'm honest with whoever I'm talking to, they should reciprocate and give me the equivalent respect. And it's not always that case. In trying to find answers for my future care, being stonewalled and told that they don't know the answers. Why don't they know the answers? I'm not the only senior in the city. I'm sure there are hundreds, if not thousands, of people in the same boat wanting to know what their next move is in an emergency. Having lived 76 years now, coping with limitations that sort of get bigger all the time, I find it interesting that what I want to do to maintain my independence isn't necessarily what somebody else's concept is of what I want. For example, nobody can see the importance of the fact that I can't see well in the mornings to test my blood sugar or do my blood pressure, and yet it's vital to my health. I have been on a search now for 18 months to find another place to live, and discovered that I'm probably in the best place I can be if I can get the services I need. The search for the proper services has been really tricky, but in the long run, to have somebody come into my apartment and recognize what I want to do as versus telling me what I should do is a fantastic experience, and I hope that everybody else has the same solutions eventually, but I have to be realistic. It's going to be a fight for everybody.